Alright, so today I'd like to go over something very simple that might be affecting your dog. So, something that a lot of people don't realize is how easy it can be to reward your dogs. So this guy right here, you can see him, Sheldon here and Jax are in the same boat. You hear that little whine right there? So that little anxious whine is very easy to reward. And a lot of people don't even realize they're rewarding it. And a lot of people don't realize that it affects other parts of their dog's life. Let me explain. So if you reward that behavior, that is anxious behavior. It's what we would call a precursor to other behaviors. So when you reward that behavior, you're telling your dog, I like you to be anxious. When you're anxious, I want you to vocalize it. I want you to whine. I want you to bark, whatever. And if it's a small whine like that, it's the same thing as rewarding a bark, a loud bark. So if you reward those kind of behaviors, your dog may get anxious in another situation and go, well, they like it when I whine. Let's start barking. Next thing you know, you're getting upset with your dog because they're barking a lot. And some people start trying to correct the dog's barking, but then they don't stop the dog when they whine and they get anxious. And sometimes these people even talk to their dog and reward the dog. And then the dog goes, oh, well, he likes it when I whine. He likes it when I get anxious. And then they're confused when you start trying to correct them because they don't understand. They don't get it. They're like, what's going on here? I thought you liked this behavior. So it will be pretty much impossible for you to get your dog to stop being anxious and barking at things if you reward those small things, that whining. Because you're just confusing your dog. You're not being consistent. And consistency is so important when it comes to training your dog. If you're not consistent, they aren't going to follow the rules because you're not being consistent on the rules, right? So they go, well, sometimes they let me do this. Sometimes they even reward me, right? And a reward could be as simple as, what's wrong? You know, some people, they start talking to their dog, and I get it. I love talking to my dogs. I do it all the time. But I don't do it if the dog starts to become anxious. You know, if I'm having a conversation with my dog, I'm playing with my dog, and they become anxious for some reason or vocalize for some reason that I don't want them to do that because maybe they're barking at a cat or whatever it is. I'm going to then turn off my play. I'm going to turn off my conversation, and I'm going to then mark that as an unwanted behavior. And then I'm going to give them some form of punishment. Typically, it's a negative punishment in a situation like this. I'm going to ignore them. Like, oh, well, sorry, buddy, but I don't play with dogs that make all that kind of noise, right? And the dog goes, what happened? He turned off. He's not playing with me anymore. He's not having fun with me anymore. And over and over and over again, if every single time your dog starts to get too wound up, you just turn off, the dog will eventually go, it's every time I do this. Every time I start to vocalize, he turns off. Every time I jump on him, whatever the behavior is, he turns off. He stops playing with me. Stops talking to me. And your dog wants your attention. The pack animals, they love us. They want to hang out with us. So when we start to ignore them, they go, what the heck? I want to hang out with you. And they'll start to click that it's those behaviors, it's this whining that's getting him to turn off. And eventually they'll stop whining because they'll realize that if I want to interact with my human, I want to play with them, then I have to stop whining or whatever it is the behavior you're dealing with. So I hope this helps you understand how some of the small things in your dog's behavior and life can affect some of those bigger things. And understand that if you're not consistent, it's going to be impossible for you to really teach your dog what is expected of them. So I hope this helps. If you guys have any questions, feel free to drop a comment below. If you guys have a request for a certain kind of video, I know I've got a list already to make, but feel free to add yours into it, and I'd be more than happy to make a video specific for you. I hope you guys have a fantastic day, and we'll talk to you then. Bye for now.